It's getting weirder and weirder in the Trump administration. These cabinet meetings are getting weirder and more disturbing. They're never beaten the cult allegation. When I was out there at the inauguration, interviewing people, and the day before, I thought this is the pinnacle of cultiness. These people are in it. They just believe blatant, weird, bizarre, insane conspiracy theories that have been spouted by Donald Trump, and they believe it as fact. The MAGA movement meets all of the fundamental hallmarks of what a cult is. And it has morphed into something. It's just it's bananas to me that these cabinet meetings, these people who they want to be so close to power, and it's so important to them that they will absolutely debase themselves, embarrass themselves, humiliate themselves for the sake of Donald Trump, telling him how wonderful he is, lying to him about the margins of victory in this past election, that he won the other election, that his leadership is bold and transformative, and this naked king has the most glorious garments on. I have 3 examples from yesterday in a cabinet meeting. Wild. Pam Bondi, the couch impersonator, Brooke Rollins, and Kelly Loeffler. Kelly Loeffler used to be a sitting United States senator. Brooke Rollins, I think, was in the House of Representatives. Pam Bondi was the Attorney General for the state of Florida. And they're all giving this dipshit, this insecure weakling, a much-needed ego boost. Just razzing him up to make him feel good in a cabinet meeting that's televised for the world to see how obsequious and bootlicky these freaks are. Let's start with Pam Bondi, where she's explaining how he overwhelmingly was elected by the biggest majority. It was a plurality. He didn't win by a majority. And that he has the authority. All the courts are telling him, none of this is true, none of anything she says is true. That all of the courts are telling him he has the absolute authority to determine how the money of this country will be sent, which flies in the face of the Constitution, flies in the face of the co-equal branches of government, that the House of Representatives puts forth budget bills, appropriation, it goes through, the Senate approves it, then it goes to the desk, and then that money that's been appropriated has to be spent on the thing it was appropriated for. After the fact, the president, one, doesn't have line item veto, which was something that was tried to be passed in the 90s that never got through. A president does not have the authority to change where the money goes after the fact, after it's been signed into law, because Donald Trump himself isn't the law as much as he'd like you to believe it. Anyway, here's Pam Bondi just slathering Donald Trump up and just going at it.
President, we've had some great wins in the last few days. That you were overwhelmingly elected by the biggest majority. The U.S. Americans want you to be president because of your agenda, and the courts are ruling that you have the authority to determine how the money of this country will be spent. That's what the American citizens wanted, and that's what they're getting. An example of that Friday was the Department of Education, that you can determine how the money will be spent, no more DEI, and that impacts every agency across the board.
One, strange that the Attorney General is so close to the White House. Not the role of the Attorney General to be there lathering Donald Trump up, just greasing him up, making him feel good. No. Brooke Rollins, again, the woman who was yesterday or the day before maybe, in the Oval Office with Kristi Noem, dressed as a couch or some kind of an upholstery wrapped furniture item. She also yammered on, going full North Korea news anchor lady here, telling Donald Trump, what you have assembled in your vision is a turning point, an inflection point in American history, and so just being a part of this, thank you, dear leader. Thank you for just letting me be a part. as her eyes glaze over and she's reaching for the Kool-Aid. Very weird, very culty, very gross. Watch this.
Sir, first, we are, I would say, more than friends. We've all become family. And I think that what you have assembled in your vision is a turning point and an inflection point in American history. And so just being a part of that is the greatest honor. So thank you for that. And again, just the relationships here and the honor and respect we have for each other is a reflection of you and your leadership. So I just wanted to say that first. The second thing.
This is what Donald Trump demands. Every motherfucker at that table knows what their role is. Their role is to juice Donald Trump's ego up, is to make this broken little boy, this insecure weakling, feel like a titan of a leader. They all know it. You see Sean Duffy there looking on like, it's my turn next. They know. The Republican Party knows. Look, we talk about the cult thing. In private, these liars and hypocrites, they tell the truth. They say, yeah, he's ruining shit. He's wrecking the party. They know. But they're so afraid of him because he is such an unhinged force who will unleash his private mercenary army of insurrectionists against them, the Twitter trolls and the army of assholes who will threaten the lives of these people. I've talked about this in previous weeks. They're afraid of him. So they prostrate themselves before Donald Trump, spread themselves open and vulnerable for him to approve of them or whatever. Here, former Senator for Georgia, Kelly Loeffler, same routine.
Mr. President, on behalf of America's manufacturers, I want to thank you for standing up to the Chinese Communist Party and fighting for our main streets, for our workers, and for those that make things in America. I'm out on a Made in America manufacturing tour, and as I go across the country, people are grateful to have a president who's not just fighting on the tariffs fronts, but to get inflation down, to create jobs. After Biden destroyed 110,000 manufacturing jobs in just his last year, you've already brought back thousands and thousands of manufacturing jobs. So the American worker is grateful. Main Street is grateful for you. And at the agency level, we're making sure that manufacturers have access to the capital they need, but we can't do that if we're not fighting fraud. So we've modified our loan applications to have citizenship verification, to make sure we have birth dates, common sense principles around lending that the Biden administration had waived. They waived.
All in an effort to justify the damage that's been done, to put a bomb on his ego and his insecurities, and also give him some kind of leeway in his addled brain to justify what he's done to the country. People are saying, you've done a great job, dear leader. You've done great. Yes, very good, sir. But in his mind, it's just showered praise upon him, justification for all that he's doing. A real leader wants someone who will tell him the truth. If Donald Trump was a real leader, he wouldn't want to be surrounded by yes men and women. He wouldn't want to be surrounded by people who are just sycophants, who just have a taste for his butthole. He would want people who are going to shoot him straight and tell him the truth. And like, look, this is what's going to happen if we do this tariff deal. If you choose to do it, you just need to know what the consequences are. He doesn't have anybody like that. I don't know if it's a product of age, if it's a product of entitlement and wealth. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't hugged enough. Maybe he was bullied too much, or maybe not enough. Who knows what the answer is? None of that should be our concern. Our concern is, how are we going to make the lives of Americans better? And I can tell you what, it's not a wild tax increase in the form of tariffs that are going to impact American families up to like $5,000 more per year, while prices are already on the rise after he promised he would lower them. And you got these cultish freaks backing it up, bolstering his points, justifying the damage being done, sitting around a table of millionaires and literal billionaires. This is the oligarchy at work, and it's just filled with morons. It should dispel any rumor or myth of meritocracy. This is the least merit-filled cabinet that has ever been assembled, and it's the wealthiest. These aren't experts in their fields. These are people who got lucky, made some money. Lucky they got, not skillful. What do you think? We're going to leave it there. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. If you want to help support this work, I would encourage that if you're in a financial position to do so. If you're not, just subscribe. Fantastic. Share this video, like this video, comment on this video. But if you have $2 that you don't need, I could use it. Click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month, or go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. We also sell some merch on the website. The shirts, Fight Poverty, Not the Poor. We got some new designs coming out. It's going to be great. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.